carburetor from a Kohler twin-cylinder lawn tractor, 16 horsepower. I've taken the carburetor apart and cleaned it. Sprayed carb cleaner down here, cleaned it with a small piece of wire down that little wee hole in the center. I also took off the fuel adjusting screw, fuel mixture adjusting screw right here. Sometimes there's a bit of rust that forms in here, so I took it right out and ran it under the wire brush. So everything else looks pretty good. I'm going to put it back together, make a gasket for the intake here, and then I'm going to blow that crud off the top. So I'm reassembling the carburetor. There's a little clip on top of the needle. You want to make sure it goes over the little flap there on the float. So there's the needle in there. Then you got this little O-ring that goes around the carburetor. Now there's just the float to put on, the bowl I mean. Just like that. And this little 1/2 inch plug. So there we go. You don't want to over tighten this plug too much. So I'm just going to air blow this carburetor, then put it on the tractor. Okay, so she's clean and ready to go. I've got this idle mixture fuel screw set at 2 turns out, and the fuel mixture screw here is about a turn out, but I'm going to probably readjust them once I got it running. So there's the gasket I made for the intake. I'm going to replace the fuel line from the carb to the fuel pump, and I've got the carburetor right here, which can go on there. There's 2 1/2 inch nuts that go there. There's that linkage right there. This little wee one goes into here on the carburetor. It's kind of hard to do with one hand here, but there you go. So I'll mount it up, and so I put a new gas filter there. The old one was pretty bad, and I replaced part of the fuel line from the pump to the carburetor. So the carburetor is all in there. All I need to do now is put the air breather box on. So I've got the air breather box on, and the choke cable, which goes on to there. A bit hard to see there. There's the choke cable. You also want to make sure that the adjustment with that little 5/16 bolt there, that when you've got the choke off, it is actually off, because you don't want it to be running rich because the choke is partially on. One way to check that is if you look way down inside there, you can see the tip of the butterfly. It's open and the choke is supposed to be off, and I checked it with the choke on and it works, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. Anyways, I've got it all together. I've already started it up. I'll start it again just to show you a clip there. Now what I've got left to do on this machine is change the solenoid. This solenoid came out of this machine. I put a used one just to diagnose the problem. So the solenoid's way down there. That's a used one, but I'm repairing it for a guy, so I'm going to put a brand new one. I've already purchased it. So here's the brand new solenoid. It's kind of a universal solenoid for lawn tractors. It's made by MTD, this one, or branded MTD, but it's basically the same as the Yardman, which is made by AYP. So I've got the solenoid changed. I had to drill 2 little holes, 1/4-inch holes, about 1 inch above the previous holes, because it was a universal solenoid and the wires were a bit tight. So I re-drill that, put that there, and you just basically hook up the 2 positives on there, and that's about it. So I'm going to change the oil on this thing. Okay, and I got the filter to get off. So I got the filter out, but there's always oil that leaks, and I don't want that to go through the holes and onto the belt, so I'm just gonna quickly wipe it off there. Looks pretty good. I'm going to let it sit here for about 15 minutes to really drain. Then I'll put some new oil in there. Anyways, I'm all done fixing it. Just gave it a good wash. I'll give it a quick test run there. This one's got a switch here for the blades. It's electric.